Backs, Statham, Pendry and Cowdrill are all injured, so John Truick wears number 3, while at number 6, Martin Bennett comes in for the suspended Alistair Robertson. This Albion side in green and yellow stripes are on an unbeaten run of 10 matches in League and League Cup. Here's Remy Moses, now Brendan Batson, Alistair Brown. Regis in there, so was Lacey. Brian Robson, Regis, shot by Robson. Robson staying very close to Ardiles. That could be an interesting little battle in the middle of the field today. An England international against one from Argentina. That was Perryman though to Hoddle. Robson rapidly establishing himself in the England side. Perryman, there they are together again, the two number 7s. That was Bennett, Houghton, Ricky Villiers. Finding Perryman. Ardiles. Oh, nicely. Ardiles having a long look at what happened to the shot, but what about the piece of skill which preceded it? He just nicked the ball through the legs of Brian Robson and made room for himself to fire that one over the bar. Robson. Truick. That's a good ball. Gary Owen and Brown in the centre unmarked. Here's Brown. Dane saved the first one. Brown followed in. Well, what a simple goal in Albion's first attack, virtually. Gary Owen got away on the left. He crossed Alistair Brown's first effort, driven against Barry Danes, and he followed it in to score. Well, that's taken the wind out of Tottenham's sails for the moment. After they'd started very promisingly, Spurs, their defence is caught, and all sorts of inquests going on there, you can see, because that was slack defensive play by Spurs, as I'm sure they will admit afterwards. "15 minutes gone, and a foul there by Lacey, spotted by the referee. Brown is coming in again on this. That was Miller's header. Well, Tottenham's marking certainly leaving a lot to be desired when that goal was scored. Brown. Barnes. Robson tucking it in nicely for Gary Owen. Peter Barnes wanting it played wide again. And Lacey with the header out. Hoddle with time to clear. Oh, what a good ball it was. And lovely chest control by Crooks for Archibald now. Players coming up to the right. And also one on the left, and a foul by Brendan Batson. Ardiles' shot, parried by Godden, his second save, this time going the other way to his right. Ardiles has scored on each of the last 2 Saturdays, and he might have made it a hat-trick there, of a sort. Nicely done between Peter Barnes and Brian Robson, and Alistair Brown in space again. He's got Regis on this side. Barnes is also well forward. Still Brown, pulling it back for Cyril Regis to shoot. Offside against Peter Barnes, wouldn't have counted. Barry Danes wasn't to know that. As Regis shot, Danes went to his right to make a save, but look where Peter Barnes was, in an offside position, and the linesman's flag was up. Keith Birkinshaw, the Spurs manager, was saying to Jimmy Hill in this morning's Football Focus that Spurs must learn to defend better, and he won't be pleased by the way the first goal was scored by Albion today. Second from the right as we look on the bench, Keith Birkinshaw. Crooks. And in the back of Crooks, John Weil conceding the free kick. Ardiles plays it for Chris Hughton to shoot. And save number 3 from Tony Godden. Just put his 2 fists there and the ball did the rest. McAllister. What a good stop by Tony Godden. Villiers. Hoddle. McAllister's in there again. Good header out by Bennett this time. Villiers. And Albion here have suddenly got a man over. This could be very dangerous for Spurs. And Brown is through the middle again, onside. And in the centre, he's got Owen and Barnes waiting as the goalkeeper tries to get back. And Truitt comes forward for Albion as well. And Davis finally makes a save, having regained his ground. Alistair Brown was clean through, but when he went round Barry Daines, he went too wide. And Spurs survived. Robson. Batson again. 5 Albion players forward in the attack. They do get forward quickly. There goes Brown again. And that's going to go wide. And Alistair Brown, Robson put the ball through, but Alistair Brown must be wondering quite where his hat-trick has gone to. He got the first goal, but he could so easily have had 2 more. Cold afternoon for watching football. There's Perryman. Oh, Tottenham not helping themselves at the moment. Here's Weil. Barnes. Owen. These 2 played together at Manchester City and they've got a good understanding. Barnes cross in for Brown at the near post. Lacey stretching. Oh, Regis here. And now it's Batson. Hits the post. Robson's coming in. It's 2-0. Brian Robson has scored. Well, what a good move by Albion. Let's say that first off. Owen and Barnes combining beautifully. The ball played by Barnes into the centre, running on from Regis to Batson. The shot beating the goalkeeper and hitting the post. And Brian Robson, at the moment he can do nothing wrong, it seems, makes it 2-0 to the visitors. I should imagine Ron Atkinson with his hand to his mouth there. The Albion manager must be very contented as we come up towards half-time. Mick Brown, his assistant, to the right as we look. Robson. That's Brown with Miller in attendance. Oh, he's beaten them both. Regis, Barnes! Well, Don McAllister let the ball go, and Peter Barnes came in and made it 3-0. Set up by Alistair Brown on this side of the field, beating 2 players. Nice dummy by Regis in the penalty area. McAllister could have cleared the ball, I would have thought, but he let it run, and coming in behind him, Peter Barnes, to make it 3-0 to West Brom. McAllister reflecting on the sort of nightmare moment that can happen to any defender when you're not sure who's behind you. Tottenham, who started off all right, but the story of the half really was that Tony Godden in the Albion goal made 3 extremely good saves, and then at the other end his own team used the space that Tottenham generously allowed them to score 3 times themselves. I should imagine there were some harsh words said in the porter cabin, which is being used as the Tottenham dressing room at half-time. The old dressing room's being demolished along with the old stand. Spurs finding themselves 3 down at home. And the crowd towards the end of the first half beginning to get on the backs of the Spurs players, who badly need some encouragement now. By Cyril Regis to Rooney Moses. Again, Brown in space. In the centre, Regis being joined by Owen, and a corner of Hughton. John Weiler flick, Regis, well saved by Barry Daines. That looked like number 4. Regis had time to get power into that shot, which he did, but Daines, falling in front of him, made the block. Oh, and he's there again, is Regis, this time stopped by the jump of Don McAllister. Well, I suppose one has to count that shot from Regis and 2 other misses by Alistair Brown and say that, in all fairness, Albion could have had 6. Here's Adiles. That's a fine ball for Don McAllister and headed out by John Weil. Some imagination at last brought into the Tottenham play by the Argentine. McAllister hits the bar. Maybe a touch from Godden. Certainly McAllister, the unlucky player. Came in and won the ball in the air. Godden was up. The ball coming back off the crossbar. And a substitution about to be made by Tottenham. And we're going to get our first look in league football at little Gary Brook. And he's going to come on for Ardiles, who appeared to be struggling from a knock quite early in the game. Perryman. Hoddle again, that's a better one. Perryman. Here's Hoddle once more. And Godden, who distinguished himself early in the match, enjoyed making that save. Hit by Hoddle at a height the sort of goalkeeper would appreciate, and Godden able to turn it aside. In goes Lacey, Crooks at the far post, Lacey! And it's finally gone in from John Lacey via Tony Godden. Lacey got the first touch, Crooks drove it back across, Lacey hit it, crossbar, goalkeeper in the net. And if Lacey claims that, as I'm sure he will, it's his first league goal for Tottenham Hotspur. He'd only scored previously in the League Cup, but Godden inadvertently may have got the last touch. Anyway, Spurs are back in business to an extent. But here comes Robson against Lacey. And we'll see now just how much a little bit of confidence can mean. Here's Villiers for Spurs, here's Brook. Crooks waiting for a chance, so is Archibald here, so is Steve Perryman. And Steve Perryman, a great chaser of lost causes, puts Tottenham back to 3-2 with his first goal of the season. Gary Brook had a hand in it early on, which will be important to him. The ball played through and then across, and Perryman finishing well to make the score 3-2. With just 3 minutes to go. Well, there'll be a few nails being bitten down on the bench at the moment. Hoddle. Well, they've got one more chance, perhaps. Referee well into stoppage time. Crooks trying to turn. Free kick on the edge of the area. That's Hoddle, deflection off the wall, corner. He's blown. It's all over. And so Spurs lose their unbeaten home record to an Albion side who did the damage in the first half. They took a 3-goal lead and Spurs got 2 of them back, but it wasn't enough. And so Ron Atkinson and Keith Birkinshaw walk off with differing emotions, I'm sure, as their 2 teams prepare now for the League Cup quarter-finals next week.